The River Ouse is a river in North Yorkshire, England. Hydrologically, the river is a continuation of the River Eure, and the combined length of the River Eure and River Ouse makes it, at 208 kilometres, the sixth longest river of the United Kingdom and the longest to flow entirely in one county. The length of the Ouse alone is about 84 kilometres. The river is formed at the confluence of the River Eure and the much smaller Ouse Gilbeck at Cuddy's Shore Reach near Linton-on-Ouse, about 6 miles downstream of the confluence of the River Swale with the River Eure. It then flows through the city of York and the towns of Selby and Goole before joining with the River Trent at Trent Falls, near the village of Faxfleet, to form the Humber estuary. The Ouse's system of tributaries drains a large upland area of northern England, including much of the Yorkshire Dales and North York Moors. The Ouse Valley is a wide, flat plain. Heavy rainfall in the river's catchment area can bring severe flooding to nearby settlements. In recent years, both York and Selby, and villages in between, have been very badly hit. Source: the traditional source of the Ouse is in the village of Great Ouseburn, and is marked by a stone column reading, Ouse River Head, OUSEGILL Spring FD. York 13 miles, Boroughbridge 4 miles. The site is 35 metres from the present course of Ouse Gilbeck, a small stream earlier known as Ousekelbeck, meaning spring or source of the Ouse. The start of the Ouse is now considered to be the point where Ouse Gilbeck joins the River Eure, 2.5 kilometres southeast of Great Ouseburn. Etymology: the origin of the name is uncertain. The name was first recorded in about 780 as USA. It has been speculated that the name is of Brythonic Celtic origin, from an assumed word udso, assumed to be derived from the Indo-European root wet, meaning water. Other sources prefer a Proto-Celtic. It has been suggested that the Ouse was once known as the Ure, but there seems to be no supporting evidence for this claim. The suggestion that the name derives from the Celtic name of the Eure, assumed to be Ashura from the Roman name for Aldborough, and over time evolved into Isis and finally the Saxon Ouse, would go some way to explaining how the little tributary Ouse Gilbeck usurps the name of the much larger River Eure. However, the form Ouse is little changed from the 8th century. Navigation: the Ouse is navigable throughout its length. Seagoing vessels use the river as far as Goole, where there is an inland port and access to the Erin Calder navigation. At Selby, there is access to the Selby Canal. The river is tidal up to Naburn. The resultant tidal bore is known locally as the Agyr. At Naburn there is a weir with locks, so that boats of 45.7 metres length and 4.6 metres beam can reach York. Above York there is another weir with locks at Linton-on-Ouse, which allows boats of 20 metres length to proceed to the River Eure navigation. The Navigation Authority is associated British ports from Trent Falls to Goole Railway Swing Bridge at Skelton, and the Canal and River Trust upstream from there. In the 18th and 19th centuries there was considerable commercial traffic on the river, mainly from Selby, which then had a custom house downstream. After the 1826 opening of the Erin Calder navigation, most traffic became concentrated on the port of Goole. This continues, although the colt trade which formed the backbone of the river trade has ceased. Settlements: Lower Dunsfith, Aldwark, Linton-on-Ouse, Newton-on-Ouse, Nunmonkton, Benningborough, Overton, Nether Poppleton, York, South Bank, Fulford, Bishopthorpe, Naburn, Acaster Malbus, Acaster Selby, Carwood, Kelfield, Rickle, Balby, Selby, Hemmingbrough, Barnby on the Marsh, Booth, Hook, Skelton, Goole, Swinefleet, Saltmarsh, Reedness, Little Redness, Whitgift, Blacktoft, Ousefleet, Faxfleet,